SCP-023?
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't. SCP-023, also called the Black Shuck, or that dog you don't want to pet, is a Euclid-class shaggy black canine that looks like a dog, but acts like a curse. This isn't your average good boy. It's a canine anomaly with one very simple rule. Do not make eye contact. Why? Because if you do, you've just triggered a 1-year death curse, like The Ring. But instead of watching a scary VHS tape, you locked eyes with a hellhound. And unlike The Ring, there's no creepy phone call. Just you or one of your close family members suddenly dropping dead exactly a year later. No exceptions, no refunds, not even a chew toy. And before you ask, no, SCP-023 isn't a misunderstood furry. This thing is a demon doggo, 8 feet tall at the shoulder, eyes that burn, and leaves scorched claw marks wherever it walks. Plus, it somehow phases through walls when it feels like taking a stroll. You can't pet this dog. You can't even boop the snoot. Real alpha energy. Containment is keeping it locked in a reinforced chamber lined with mirrors. Why mirrors? Because the reflection won't trigger the curse. It just helps staff know where the mutt is pacing. Staff rotations happen often because being near it too long causes malfunctions, paranoia, and the occasional nervous breakdown. So, if you see SCP-023 coming, look away. No, who's a good boy? Just turn around and walk fast. After all, you don't want to have a rough day and end up in the doghouse. For real. SCP-610. SCP-610, also known as the flesh that hates, is a Keter-class biological horror show currently quarantined in Siberia. Here's the deal. SCP-610 is an infectious disease, but instead of a sniffle or a fever, you get flesh. So much flesh, it will make your skin crawl, literally. Touch an infected surface, breathe in spores, get scratched, and soon your body starts mutating. Skin swells and splits. New limbs sprout where they shouldn't. Holes open where no holes should be. Before long, you're not a person anymore, just a walking pile of meat, looking for fresh victims. I hope I'm not getting under your skin, but it gets worse. Victims don't die. They remain aware. Even when fused to a wall or ceiling, they can still move and still hunt uninfected targets. And that's not all. The infected also build, creating grotesque buildings made of tissue, veins, and bone. The longer a site is infected, the more creative it gets. Containment is a simple kill-on-site order for anything trying to leave the quarantine zone. No exceptions, no rescue teams. Anyone who goes in doesn't come out. The Foundation's tried napalm, explosives, even wiping entire areas off the map, but it only slows the spread. New growths pop up constantly. Seems like they've got a real situation here. Want to hear a story? Some rookie once thought he could just walk in and take samples. Want to know what he is now?
He's a sausage.
Worst case scenario? We're all sausages. If the infection ever escapes Siberia, we'll be skin deep in trouble. SCP-953. SCP-953, also known as the polymorphic humanoid, is a Keter-class, shape-shifting fox with a bone to pick. Technically, she's a kumiho, a Korean nine-tailed fox spirit. But this is not some elegant, mystical creature. She's an ancient, sadistic predator with a thing for human livers and a body count in the triple digits. The first red flag? She looks like a furry. She can shapeshift into pretty much anything, but prefers looking like a small Korean woman with just enough fox traits. A tail, ears, and glowing eyes. The catch? Anyone dumb enough to flirt with her gets seduced, sliced, and served, in that order. And she loves to toy with her victims first. Seduction, mind games, gaslighting, and when you're nice and vulnerable, disembowelment. Usually after she's convinced you to eat part of your loved ones. Yes, she's that petty. Despite centuries of imprisonment, she's still mad about humanity killing the old ways, and sees the Foundation as the ultimate insult, steel boxes for gods. So every time she escapes, and she has, multiple times, she doesn't just flee, she hunts. Containment is a specially reinforced cell at Site-17, with constant surveillance and a hard rule. Never make eye contact, never speak casually, and definitely don't ask, "What does the fox say?" Because the answer is usually screaming. And I know she's not uncontainable. People are just too busy simping to follow protocol. Which is why we keep finding corpses with flirty texts and missing livers. SCP-055. SCP-055 is one of the weirdest Keter-class objects the Foundation has, because half the time, nobody even remembers it exists. It's an anti-meme, a self-keeping secret. In plain English, it's perfectly visible and describable until you try. The second you look away, whatever you knew about it vanishes. You can take photos, video, notes. Great. The moment you review them, your brain taps out. Nobody remembers when it arrived at Site 19. Nobody knows who authorized its containment. The containment room exists, obviously. Thick concrete walls, Faraday cage, sealed door. But no one remembers why it was built that way. You could be standing right outside the door, and if someone asked what's in there, you'd go, "I don't know," and walk away. Containment is as much about trying not to forget it exists as it is about physical barriers. Routine checks confirm the room is still sealed and the object is still something inside. Attempts to destroy it have been made, probably, but no one can remember how those went. The kicker? SCP-055 might be extremely dangerous. For all we know, it's killed hundreds of personnel. Or it could be harmless. Or it could be an alien artifact spying on us. Nobody knows. And the harder you try to figure it out, the faster the knowledge disappears. So yeah, SCP-055. Wait, what was I saying? I forgot. But now that we're here, you might as well subscribe to my channel, though. SCP-303, also known as the doorman. Not because it guards doors, but because it lurks behind them. Here's how it works. Randomly, anywhere in an undisclosed Foundation site, behind any door, hatch, or barrier. It just shows up. And the second it does, anyone trying to open that door gets slammed with a surge of pure, primal fear. Full body paralysis, heart pounding. It's like your brain suddenly decided, actually, let's not barge in there. Behind the door is a thin, sexless, reddish-brown humanoid with a grotesquely oversized mouth full of human teeth. Rumor has it he's British, which would explain the full mouth of suspiciously white veneers. You won't usually see it, though. It's careful. If there's a window, it'll fog it. If the door's cracked, you'll glimpse maybe 10% of it, never more. It seems almost shy about being fully seen, which I low-key understand, but you'll hear it. A deep, wheezing breath, loud enough to rattle nerves from the other side of thick walls. Strangely, SCP-303 doesn't seem hostile. It's never attacked anyone directly, and it doesn't induce fear on purpose. That terror comes from something deep and instinctual, like a built-in phobia. It just sort of blocks your way. People have starved rather than forced themselves past it. Containment is tricky. Right now, it's bound to an unknown Foundation site, which has been heavily modified with alternate exits and clear sightlines to manage encounters. But SCP-303 roams as it pleases, sometimes taking objects back to a claimed storage room. Once, it even stole a powered coffee creamer. Why? No one knows. SCP-2747. At first, it looks like a glitch. People start remembering a fictional book, movie, or game that never existed. They'll all agree on the plot, even though no one can find a copy. Feels harmless, right? But then things start vanishing. Entire forums, archives, and articles disappear like they never existed. Even the memories fade. The entity behind it is called Anaphobula, a kind of anti-story. It thrives on tropes like darkness, unresolved endings, and the number 7. Build enough of those elements into a narrative and boom, you trigger SCP-2747. First, it devours the story. Then it eats the fandom. Then the metadata. And then it starts nibbling on the very idea of the thing. One layer at a time, gone. The Foundation's only hope for containment is basically running narrative janitor duty, scanning books, websites, media, quietly editing out dangerous patterns. Meanwhile, they're throwing SCP-2747 carefully crafted decoy stories as a distraction. So yeah, the universe is being saved by bad writing. Why is this such a big deal? Because the SCP universe is itself a story. If Anaphobula punches through into the real world above it, everything could go. The wiki, the content, the creators, even the concept of the Foundation itself. So, if you're making a video about it, maybe don't finish it. Leave the ending a bit messy, because if this part just stops mid-sent. SCP-076-2. SCP-076-2, or as most call him, Abel, is an ancient Sumerian warrior with a serious grudge against, well, everyone. Currently, he's sealed inside a giant stone coffin. Keter-class, naturally, because every time he wakes up, he starts a one-man apocalypse. You don't stop him. You delay him, briefly. Long story short, he used to be a nice guy protecting his people. Then some family drama happened. He died, came back wrong, and now he's permanently stuck on kill mode. He's a nightmare to fight. He can tear through steel doors with his bare hands, dodge automatic gunfire, and regenerate after being shot to pieces. And his pain tolerance? He once fought SCP-682 while using his own intestines as a weapon. He's even worked with the Foundation once, but mostly because it let him fight things legally. Containment looks good on paper. SCP-076-1 is buried deep underground, behind multiple blast doors and automated turrets. A kill team's on permanent standby. And if things go truly south, there's a remote nuke tied to the chamber. Every time he dies, his body crumbles to dust. And then he respawns inside SCP-076-1, good as new. Attempts to cure his bloodlust? No luck. Some say he's an overgrown, angry teen who never matured. Others think he's a projection of some higher power. Either way, if Abel's awake, you won't be able to relax. SCP-783, known to locals as the Crooked Man, though no one's ever actually seen him. You'll just know he's around when buildings start warping, bones start snapping, and people start stretching. Here's what we know. SCP-783 is a Keter-class unseen entity confined to Tembe, England. I don't know what's worse, the weather or the bloke who hates straight lines. He twists the structure of everything it touches, buildings, objects, and even people. Victims are found horrifyingly deformed, limbs stretched impossibly long, bones bent at jagged angles, cartilage healed mid-twist. Many survive in this crazy state, but not for long. The locals speak of a rhyme. There lived a crooked man who made a crooked deal. He stole a crooked child and was broken on the wheel. Some believe SCP-783 is this man, cursed to inflict his fate on others forever. Containment is, in theory, easy. Tembe is quarantined. The Foundation blocks all access, monitors the town remotely, and avoids nighttime operations. You know it's bad when even the tea breaks get rescheduled. But while he is contained, no one's figured out how to stop or neutralize SCP-783, and the horror runs deeper. SCP-783's influence extends even to written reports. Texts distort, letters skew on the page. One report mutated into Arial bold. Can you imagine? Attempts to trace it led to the discovery of a mass grave of elongated victims. Worse, beneath it, an entrance to a bizarre parallel version of Tembe, looping endlessly, inhabited by warped remains and things best left undescribed. In short, if you value your skeletal alignment, stay far away from Tembe. The Crooked Man prefers his victims flexible. That's it, folks. Some SCPs just can't be locked down. So stay sharp, don't flirt with foxes, and whatever you do, don't open that door.